Does it give you some sense, not of joy, but of relief at least, that he's potentially facing some consequences? Because, as you've said before, this guy's a con artist, and he's gotten away with it for years.
I'm not calling him, I'm tired of calling him names. He just can't be anywhere near the office of the presidency. It's funny, I was just thinking that he actually became president. He could have done good things. Instead, he had to do it all wrong.
In the next few minutes, you're gonna hear why Robert De Niro thinks Trump is more dangerous than any movie villain. We're talking mob bosses, psycho taxi drivers, the whole 9 yards. That's not all. We'll break down De Niro's warning about democracy, explain why he's comparing Trump to Hitler, and show you Trump's meltdown response. Buckle up, cause this Hollywood versus White House showdown is about to get wild. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Get ready, people, because Robert De Niro is about to unleash a fiery rant against Donald Trump that is more intense than a jalapeno eating competition at a chili cook-off. Our man Bobby D has more burns for Trump than a tanning bed malfunction, so there are no holds barred. On the other hand, the insults that De Niro throws are more than just confetti at a depressing clown parade. The portrayal of Trump that he gives is more terrifying than finding a spider in your drawer of underwear.
You've played a lot of bad guys. Would you ever play Donald Trump?
Never. There's nothing about him, there's not one redeeming thing in him that I can see, ever. He's so, as we all know, so narcissistic and self-centered. I don't think they really understand. And historically, from what I see, even in Nazi Germany, they had it with Hitler.
In addition to this, he is actually making comparisons between Trump and Hitler. If you can believe it, actually you did hear it correctly. It would appear that Guess Who is the worst game in the entire world. However, let's not get ahead of ourselves. In the meantime, grab some popcorn, everyone. What is it about De Niro's Italian loafers that makes them so bizarre? The fact of the matter is that he is worried about the fact that Trump is being ridiculed in the same way that Hitler was. To what extent do you remember how successful that was? A spoiler alert, it's not very good. Not only does De Niro worry about Trump's bad hair days and his tweets that sound like they were sent by a toddler using a smartphone, but he is also concerned about other things the president does. On the contrary, he is cautioning that Trump is not only a terrible president, but also a danger to democratic institutions. It would appear that Trump is attempting to make the United States of America the focus of his very own reality show, and there is no way to change the channel.
He's so blatantly stupid. He's a punk, he's a dog, he's a pig, he's a con, a bullshit artist, a mutt who doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't do his homework. It makes me so angry that this country has gotten to this point, that this fool, this bozo, has wound up where he has. He talks how he wants to punch people in the face. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face. Thinks he's gaming society, doesn't pay his taxes. He's an idiot. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. This is somebody that we want for president? I don't think so.
One of the most unfortunate aspects is that De Niro is not simply venting for the sake of venting. He is extremely concerned about the state of democracy now that it is in danger. His behavior at Thanksgiving dinner is reminiscent of that cool uncle who has had enough of Trump's nonsense and does not hesitate to express his dissatisfaction with him. De Niro is taking a stand and urging everyone to wake up and smell the coffee of democracy before it is too late. He is standing tall. In addition, let's face it, when Robert De Niro speaks, people pay attention to what he has to say. In this context, we are not referring to a random troll using Twitter. The phrase, "you talking to me," emerged as one of the most famous lines in the history of film thanks to the efforts of this particular individual. In light of this, it is comparable to watching a heavyweight champion enter the ring alongside a man who is convinced that the WWE is a legitimate organization when he starts dropping truth bombs about Trump.
We've heard you talk about the former president. You have called him a fraud, a con artist. You've said he's a New Yorker like you, and you have watched this brand of BS.
I think of how absurd it is. And this might be the one case where that could be it for him. It's a state case. He's sick. He is really, genuinely a sick person that somehow has been allowed into our system.
The most important question is whether or not the comments made by De Niro will have an effect, or will they merely add to the already deluge of criticism that has been leveled against Trump. I can say with absolute certainty that Robert De Niro will not be giving up anytime soon. Time is the only thing that can tell. He is comparable to a dog that has a bone, and the shape of that bone is represented by Trump's toupee. Individuals, it would appear that the remarks made by De Niro caused more than just a stir. They triggered a full-scale storm directed at Trump. A masterclass in presidential pettiness was delivered by our favorite orange menace, who couldn't help but fire back. He was unable to contain his anger. As a result of De Niro's criticism, Trump in his infinite wisdom referred to him as a very low IQ individual for the simple reason that, after all, there is nothing that says I am a stable genius more than having doubts about the intelligence of other people. There is, however, more to come. Trump asserts that Robert De Niro has been subjected to an excessive number of blows to the head throughout his acting career. It would appear that method acting in the world of Trump is associated with actual brain damage. Who could possibly have knew? On the other hand, what exactly is the cherry on top of this word salad sundae? A total of 2 instances of the word to being misspelled can be found in Trump's tweet. That is indeed the case, folks. Despite the fact that he had all of his best words, the leader of the free world was unable to correctly spell a word that contained 3 letters, twice in total. The experience is analogous to watching a spelling bee in which the only competitor is an orange that is extremely confused about the word word. You might be thinking to yourself now, surely the President of the United States has better things to do than engage in Twitter spats with actors. Yes, you would be right. On the other hand, we are discussing Trump here, the individual who is of the opinion that governance is something that can be done in between binging on fast food and going on golf trips. This entire mess is a paradigmatic example of the communication style that Trump employs. Instead of addressing De Niro's genuine concerns about democracy, Trump chooses to focus on the personal grievances that he had with the actor. It's like watching a young child try to win an argument by sticking out his tongue and yelling, "You're stupid," at the same time. Each and every one of these young children possesses nuclear code. The most disconcerting aspect of this situation is that it involves more than just 2 wealthy men insulting one another. The way in which the leader of our nation responds to criticism is relevant to this discussion. The strategy that Trump relies on most frequently is to insult and disparage others rather than engage in meaningful conversation or, heaven forbid, to reflect on himself. It is possible that this strategy would be successful in a classroom setting. However, when it is coming from the Oval Office, it is a little concerning. In addition to the fact that these outbursts on Twitter have an impact on actual policy debates. While we are all too busy laughing or crying over Trump's most recent verbal diarrhea, real problems are being ignored. This is causing us to miss significant opportunities. A situation like that would be when someone is talking seriously while a clown is honking his nose in the background. To put it mildly, there is a distraction. Alright everyone, get ready for a conversation that will be very serious. At the moment, democracy is not experiencing a particularly high level of popularity. Merely 39% of the American population is of the opinion that our democracy is operating efficiently. Oh no! Given that only 39% of people believe pineapple should be included on pizza, this would be a complete and utter catastrophe. However, this is the point at which things start to get interesting. Have you ever thought about the time when Robert De Niro was just that guy from Goodfellas? Currently, on the other hand, he is assuming the role of a political superhero, quickly rushing to defend democracy against the Orange Menace. It has been suggested by specialists that celebrities such as Robert De Niro have the ability to stimulate political discourse among younger generations. Who could possibly have knew? Actors could potentially serve as a suitable replacement for all of our politicians. We have already attempted that, so hold on a second. Therefore, the next time you are browsing Twitter, instead of focusing on the feuds between celebrities and Trump, you might want to read up on some real politics. Who will know? Perhaps you will even be able to cast a vote. It is important to keep in mind that you are not permitted to take selfies while you are inside the polling booth. Avoid doing that until you have successfully rescued democracy.